30 person. So if you are shy and don't want to be seen, feel free to take yourself off video. And we're also going to record the chat. So we'll save the chat and we'll be able to answer your questions and put those back out to you in both a document in our love letter, but also up on the website. Does that sound good? So if you are from the Middle Church Consistory right now, local or collegiate, could you just wave hands so people can see that our consistory's here? Okay, if you used to be on the consistory, Danita, and you're the current treasurer, wave your hand. Okay, these are people who love you and who work hard for you. Stephen, okay, Lila, all right. Let's just take a moment to say a prayer and then we're gonna jump right in. Does that sound good, everyone? Holy One, we give you thanks today for your love in our lives, for your presence every day, for the fact that you created each of us awesomely and wonderfully in your image. And we ask on this day, as we seek to hear words from you, help us to be good listeners, help us to share visioning together and create Middle Church the way you hope and design it to be. In your many and powerful names, we say it. Amen. Amen. All right, guys, we're going to dive in. People will keep joining us. Again, you'll use the chat to ask questions. We will collate those questions. If something feels obvious, we'll say it right now. Otherwise, we're going to spin that all right back to you in a love letter next week, and it'll be up on the website. So let me get started by what I'm going to call the state of our union, and just give you some updates on all things Middle Church, what I think you need to know right now. First, let me just give you a quick site update. The site at 7th Street and 2nd Avenue has been secured and stabilized, which means that when the fire happened and the sanctuary ceiling fell down, knocked down the bricks, that kind of debris has been cleaned up. The site has been smoothed out. There is now at the front door of the sanctuary, a metal platform has been built, and that platform has allowed us to see better what's inside the space where the sanctuary used to be, the charred stairs on the way up to the balcony, and the favorite seats of some of our friends, the wainscoting on the south wall. All of this is easy to be seen now, and a miracle that the bell survived all that heat, all that fire. The bell was taken out about 10 days ago, and I got to see it the other day. It is at the New York Historic Society. It is ready for an exhibit on New York resilience that will begin this summer, but we'll have a big culmination on 9/11. So you'll want to go take a look at your bell. It's there, it's safe, it's beautiful. And I want to give thanks to the staff for making that happen. They did such a great job. So now what's next on the site is the 50 East 7th Street building. It has been wrapped in metal so that there's not a big gaping hole between the sanctuary and the social hall. The stained glass dome in the social hall is all that's left of stained glasses, and it's about 40% left. It continues to be vulnerable. Pieces of glass fall because, you know, it's a little vulnerable up there. But we now need to demolish parts of that building. So the question is, what will that demolition look like, and how much will we take out? We will take out what is porous, what is damp, what is wet, to cease the mold from growing. It is growing. That's probably cellar, first, second floor. And there are conversations about how much to take out on the floors above, 4th and 5th. And that has something to do with what we're going to do next. So for example, if we're going to build back to that space, leaving as much of it intact as is safe makes sense. We did the work on evening the floors a few years ago, 7 years ago, when we did the accessibility. The elevator likely will have to come out. It's not exactly up to code in terms of like safety and putting in if there was an ambulance or something and needed a stretcher, we might need to make new stairs there. We might need to make new windows there. And it's possible that the insurance will help us pay for those kinds of code upgrades if we're building back. Does this make sense what I'm saying? Nod at me. So the how much we take out is the question, but we will be working on that this summer, beginning in August, to get started on the what makes sense part, so we can cease some of the mold and we'll treat the wood and we'll treat what's left, and then we'll be moving forward from there. In terms of insurance, thanks be to God, the $21 million full insurance policy has been paid out to us. So we have that. And that is a giant, humongous gift from the collegiate church that is putting all of that money on our project. And that's not a given, but because we are all one community, but that has been decided. And even if any interest is earned, all of that becomes a part of what we can use to do whatever we're going to do. We are filling out the last pieces of the insurance is about things like extra expense. What would it take to rent a space this fall? We can write that off. So we've got a few more things that we can look at in terms of insurance, and we will maximize that as best we can with our accountants and with our staff. And that's what's next on insurance. Gratitude to our collegiate colleagues for giving us that money to support us. I'm going to just pivot really quickly now then to talk about future space, because I know that's what you want to know. And I know that's what I want to tell you is what we know and what we don't know. This has to do with just the footprint, right? So we are built on an L-shaped footprint. The sanctuary, as you know, on 7th Street, on 2nd Avenue, the 50 East on 7th Street, built, brownstones taken down and built. Our neighbor, Popcorn and Company, where the fire began, has always been in the middle of our site, if you will. The Cafe Mocha building, where most of us did ministry after ministry, the apartment building that was there on the corner, and then also the Via delle Pace building that had 4 apartment buildings. All of that is one lot for her, 48 and a half, East 7th Street. She also owns the Van Leeuwen building. So all of that belongs to her, the part that didn't burn as well. And what has happened, for all the reasons that people do things, is that since March 31, we haven't had access to her site. Why, you might say? I have no idea, but we haven't. So what we've had to do a little bit is to kind of pivot and jockey about how to get to our site. That's why we ended up building this platform to get into the sanctuary so people could do work. That also means that she has some work to do on her part in terms of sealing up bricks, etc. But it also means if we would presume that we're not going to have access to her site, are you with me? If we can't get into our site through hers, this makes how we rebuild just something to navigate. We have a big facade left in front. It is why the neighborhood is landmarked. Therefore, the neighborhood wants to keep the facade because it wants to be historic, and it is, dates to 1892. So that's just a piece of something to navigate. It is fabric that is left. It is old and historic, but it actually means that if we ever wanted to rebuild through that entrance, we have to have, I just playfully call them the 2-size dinosaurs, the giant booms and cranes to lift up the small boom and crane over the facade and into that space. Every time we would put a facade, like a piece of equipment like that on the site, it would be like $100,000 a pop. That is a very cost prohibitive situation. The second way to rebuild on our site, if we don't have access through hers, would be literally to take down 50 East 7th Street and use that as staging. Can you imagine what I'm saying? You build through that. You come in through the door, you come in through the social hall, you take it out, you do what you need to do, you work your way back out and rebuild and put that back up. That's also an expensive situation. We had a really powerful meeting with Landmarks about 2 weeks ago, which was actually quite encouraging. They came on the site. And so rather than this being theoretical, they were able to see what happens when there's no access. They were able to see that actually where the sanctuary was is simply a facade. That's the only fabric that's left, really. The 2 towers and the gable. And so there's nothing to save, right, inside there. They saw the rubble, they saw the bricks. And they were able to see the 50 East 7th Street. And their opinion was, if it's their way, they'd rather us not take down the 50 East 7th, the church house building where the social hall is, because then that's like 2 devastations, is a quote. Then we have 2 devastating losses of buildings in our neighborhood. So that sort of made them say they would play what if with us. What if we took out the center gable and left the 2 towers. And then we have access through the center to do the work we would need to do to rebuild. And maybe the towers would stay, and maybe we'd build something back that looked old but wasn't old. That's the current what if. Now, that is not a guarantee. There's nothing clear about that, but there were 7 of the commissioners were there on landmarks, and this was what they said, and that just felt to us very reasonable, very measured, and very possible. And in fact, before that conversation, Darren and I, our board members, wrestling with like, how could we make this happen? So it did seem to me that little bit of encouragement felt like there could be an affordable way to rebuild on that site. Could be an affordable way to build on that site. What I need to tell you also is that, of course, we're exploring other options because we have to be good stewards of the insurance money, and we have to be good stewards of your money because we all have to rebuild together. So as we think about what's next, as we think about the fact that we need a physical site that will always be hybrid, because some of you all have never been to Middle Church and have joined us. And some of you live in Paris, and some of you live in Colorado, and some of you live in DC, and some of you live in Japan. We're going to have to build something that is both physical, holding our social work, our sacred space, our justice work, our art work, our programming, and it has to have digital capacities so that our digital members never feel like they are, oh, by the way, or that they're watching us have a life, but that they can fully participate in it. So as we think about that, the questions we're asking are, is there another building on the Lower East Side, which is what most of us want to have happen, that we would convert, gut, change, transform into work that's good for us? That's a question we're asking. We are also asking ourselves, is there a space that's not in Staten Island, which some of people send me links to? You could buy this in Staten Island for $5 million. No, but is there another space in Manhattan that would make sense? West Side, South, not too close to one of the other collegiate churches. Of course, we're going to ask that question. We're going to ask ourselves, is there something else that would make our money go further? It's not a guarantee that it would go further, but we're just asking. And we're also asking ourselves, is there ministry to partner with? You know, what are there other places that are missing something that we have to bring? A place that might have space, but doesn't have a leader. A place that might want to merge our projects together. That I said that last because that's last, right? We are who we are. We are Middle Collegiate Church, but we are absolutely checking. Yes, all the things are on the table. Queens, I'm going to say probably not, Jocelyn. Just wanted to say out loud, probably not Queens, but places where we can get to. We are really exploring that. And I want to say to you all of you, real estate people who know, please write us a note to me, Amanda, Daryl. What do you see? What do you know about? What should we explore? We are open. We want to hear. We want to know. This is our project to do together. And those are the kinds of questions that we're asking. So today is not a day to tell you what we've decided. Today is a day to tell you the things that we're exploring so we can be good stewards with your resources and ours. How does that sound? Are you hearing me? Is it making sense? Give me some nods, some hand raise. Okay, excellentness. All right. Now, all of this conversation is in the context of the state of the world. Like, that's the state of Middle. And here's the state of the world. The state of the world is we are still coming out of this COVID-19 pandemic with all of the ways that it decimated families. People lost lives, people lost livelihood, people lost money. Folks who don't have resources, that's the context in which we did our ministry this year. That's the context in which the fire happened. And also the context of the other pandemic called structural, systemic, kill the, you know what I mean, Black Lives Don't Matterness, right? And which I want to say is part of the context why Middle's ministry is so important. The way that we are queer, loving, affirming, happy Pride, everyone, the way we are, Black Lives Matter, social justice, partnering with folks to heal the world around anti-Semitism and anti-Islamic sentiment and anti-Asian violence. This is who we are, this is who we be, and that's part of the context. But the third part of the context is the state of collegiate. Some of us don't know much about the collegiate church because you didn't come to join the collegiate church, but we are part of the oldest continuous Protestant church in North America, the Collegiate Church of New York. And in that context, we also, all of us have had a kind of catastrophic event, I'll say, in an investment that we made at 29th and 30th Street with partners to develop property there with our air rights and some assemblage that we made. And for all the reasons that things can happen, perhaps maybe something not managed as well as it could be, lots of different partners with lots of different contexts. Some of you read these real estate stories and know the names of these partners, but the deal is called Nomad, and frankly, it fell apart. And when it fell apart, the money that we invested in it was drastically impacted, which impacts our endowment. I think most of us thought of the collegiate church as historically wealthy, rich, second richest church. Well, we are not that rich church anymore. Our endowment is a fraction of what it used to be, a quarter of what it used to be, less than $100 million now. And because we now have a new team of leaders, I'm just going to say a bunch of badass women who are chairing these committees and being the president of our corporation. There's so much transparency now about what we have and what we don't have, that it is both, it can lead to some feelings of trepidation, but it also leads to huge feelings of trust because we know what the story is. We hear what the story is. And the way we're managing through this time is by reducing the amount of draw from the endowment that we pull to fund our ministries. We've not been careful, frankly, friends, over these last decades. We've had the money and we spent the money on really important things like making our places accessible, but also just overspending what would be a kind of ideal 4.5% draw to help the congregations get on their feet, right? To help the congregations do their work. Quite frankly, Middle for years benefited from an overspend on that draw. Last year is the first year that we paid for half of our expenses. We hit our goal of 51%. But now we have to step up for collegiate. For generations to come, we have to do more and more of our ministry. And this year, our appropriation has been drastically cut. Appropriation meaning the allowance we get from the collegiate church to do our work. It has been cut from $1.1 million to $700,000. That's a $400,000 drop in resources. And because our team is being fiscally responsible, your team is being fiscally responsible. The budget that I've given our board to look at for tomorrow, the reviewing now, has a $400,000 cut in it. And what that means is less hours for some of our staff. What that means is one of our staff we were able to transfer to the collegiate office to do work. And it's possible that we might have to, to lay off staff in the calendar year. We say that so you feel with us the ministry that we do, we're having to do differently. We are going to need to do it tighter, more with less, but also have you step into some spaces. Lots of churches have volunteer Sunday school superintendents, right? Like, we need some energy from you in terms of how we'll do this ministry, both in terms of funding and in terms of volunteering. And you can hear more about that from Devin a bit, but also as the budget is passed, that will be out in your email blast with the budget and the plan and how you can help because you are our stakeholders. You are our partners. And we've been more and more transparent over the years to let you know what it is that we're working with. And that's our commitment and our ongoing practice. So this budget has reductions, and this budget has you doing your part to fund it. It also has funds from our programming, our conferences, our anti-racism training, and it has funds in it from my speaking gigs. In my new job as public theologian, the consistory has asked me to go in the world and make that money and donate it back to the church, which is what I do. So we have that, grants, all of that in the budget, and you'll see that as we pass it. I think I want to just say this as I turn this over to Devin, our next speaker, that we know this for sure. We know for sure that we had a catastrophic fire in December, and we know for sure that our ministry kept happening. That from March 1, 2020 to March 1, 2021, 347 people joined the church. 347 people joined the church during COVID and post-fire. 25 people joined on the Sunday after the fire. Another 40 or so people have joined since March. This ministry is growing. We also know that space matters, and we need a space to anchor what we do, even as we continue to do the digital work. We need a space, a digital space, as opposed to Jeff's apartment, from which we do worship, right? We need a space, a physical space, as opposed to Jacqui's office, so we can gather and hold each other. We also know that we are loving, leading, worshiping, training, doing music, caring for each other, giving grants, doing this, loving the world with fierce love, and we understand that we are not finished. So we believe that you and I are the ones we've been waiting for, and we're going to rock and roll and make this thing happen, but we can't do it without you. We got to keep bringing people home to Middle Church to find a place of love and support. And speaking of home, homecoming is October 3rd. We know that for sure. And October 3rd, unless it's thunderstorming, we will be outside between 6th and 7th Street, worshiping outside on homecoming, gathering together in person in a socially distanced, beautiful way, outside, that's correct, with great music and great love and great preaching and you. So hold on to October 3rd, look for details. Our rain plan that day is that we'll be at our friends at Marble Church in the afternoon. But we're super excited about that, and we can't wait to hug you and see you. Devin, what you got? Take it away.
Thanks, Jacqui. Hi, everyone. I'm Devin Mosely, and I know a lot of these faces, which is amazing to see, and a lot of new faces. I'm the Director of Development for Middle Rising. Jacqui asked me to join the team earlier this year, and it's been amazing to be a part of all these conversations, having been a member these last 5 years. And, everything she talked about with the budget coming up, we're going to be able to do this with you. This is all of us that make this happen. So I have the privilege of seeing all of the dollars you donate and on a weekly basis and your pledges and everything. So this last year, we had a goal of $900,000 to reach. And this congregation raised about $650,000 of that in the middle of COVID, which is incredible with all that was going on in the world. And with the fire, this community and those who support us also brought another $1.3 million into Middle Church. So you guys are amazing. Look what you did this last year with all that we were handed. And that just makes me really excited about what we can do this next year as we move into this dream space. We've got programming year starting on July 1. We operate July 1 to June 30th for our fiscal year. So as Jacqui said, the board's going to be reviewing the budget for this next year. And once that has been approved, we're going to share that with you, which then turns into us deciding how much we can all give and pledge to this movement this next year. So we'll have that number coming up soon. And once we share that, what I'll start doing is reaching out to everybody to talk about your pledge plans for this next year to get us to that goal that we need for operations and the programming of middle for this next year to make this happen and lead us to the space as we start to rebuild and plan. The biggest thing that is benefit to us at Middle Church is your recurring donations. Recurring helps us see what you're investing and what your plan is with us, as well as obviously conversations about pledges for the year if it comes in a different way. But recurring is truly the easiest and quickest way for us to see exactly how you're planning to give to this movement so that we can plan for things. So know that I see them all on the back end, and we all appreciate it, and thank you so much. And this next year, we're going to keep operating as we have and funding the operations and programming. And the way that we do that regularly on the website is the donate page, like middlechurch.org/donate. And then for those who do want to continue giving toward what this hybrid space and building could look like, that's middlechurch.org/rising. So that's what I've got to share. I'll be reaching out to all of you in the coming weeks as we kick off a new fiscal year and talk about what we want to give. I'm going to pass it to Daryl now, who can talk more.
Excellent. Thank you, Devin. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing good. Jacqui already sort of called it out. We got over 120 people here with us this Sunday morning. It's a Pride Sunday morning. It's extremely exciting. And so I hope that you are finding this news encouraging, uplifting, and also answering some questions that maybe you've been holding for a little bit. And speaking of that, I know one major question is, how are we going to gather together, going into the summer, going into the fall months? And so I want to just give a quick, brief update that we are, in fact, in conversations, negotiations. Prayerfully, these will be wrapped up in the coming days. We have a local synagogue that we're in conversation with. We have one of our collegiate sister churches we're in conversation with. But we are trying to find, where can we call home? Where can we make our home as we prepare for in-person gathering following our October 3rd homecoming service? So homecoming is, we're going to bring people in and celebrate coming back together, but we want to have a place we can come and be together on a regular basis. And so we are going to have some information to share with you where that's going to be coming soon. And so just stay on the lookout for that information. But it's really exciting opportunity as things around COVID are beginning to change, as spaces are beginning to open up. We want to make sure that we have opportunities for ourselves to also come back together. And also in that vein, because of COVID, I want to make sure that people are aware that we have worked really hard as a team to figure out what our gathering protocols are going to be around COVID. I will just add give you a slight little peek behind the veil. That this process is difficult, is tedious, and the news around COVID is consistently evolving. For us in New York, is evolving for the better. But I want to just make sure that I bring your attention to our church website, where you can always go to be able to get the latest up-to-date information from us about how it is that we're going to be gathering because of COVID. And so you can always, I'm sharing my screen here, but you can always go to middlechurch.org/COVID. And there you can find our Middle Church COVID guidelines here. And you can scroll. It has a list of some frequently asked questions, giving you ways in which that you can begin to plan on how it is that you're going to want to be with us in person. How are we going to gather in person in indoor spaces as well as outdoor spaces? And so just check this as you can. As we continue to get more up-to-date information, we'll continue to come and update this page. But again, I just want everybody to know that we have a plan. If you want to know how to find that plan, middlechurch.org/COVID is by far one of the most easiest URLs you can ever remember. So just check that out and you can find all your information there. And with that, I am going to pause and I'm going to turn it over to our lovely Minister Ben.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, as we've been talking a little bit about the really challenging story about what are we going to do after fire, the other side of that is the really incredible story about all the ways that we've grown in the digital space over the last year and a half. So just some real top line numbers are social followings on all the different sites have more than doubled over the last year. And so we're at the point where about 10,000 Twitter followers and 6,000 Instagram followers. And those numbers continue to grow and bring people into this church. And Jacqui's public theology has just absolutely exploded in the same period of time where, she's gone from like 7,000 Twitter followers to like 35,000. And that's bringing in all sorts of, articles and public speaking engagements and really getting Middle's message out in the world to reclaim and reframe Christianity in a way that just wasn't possible before we had that kind of digital explosion. And we see it in the membership of the digital church that Natalie's going to talk about in a moment. that it's also translated into really amazing virtual events. We've had all of our anti-racism trainings that have been really full. Our conference last year more than doubled what we had at the previous year's conference, which was almost double what we had ever had before. So I mean, really, we're just seeing this exponential growth of Middle's ministry and ability to spread our message of love and justice in the world. And so that's a really amazing story and something that y'all should be so incredibly proud of, because people are looking to this church about how to lead in this moment and beyond. And with that, I will pass it over to Natalie, and she's going to talk a little bit about what the digital church is going to look like in terms of community.
Morning, family. I'm so excited. You know, I've been like dreaming of this for years. Some of you have been along on this journey, and I also know I'm holding it with all the depth that it requires, that there's some trepidation and hesitation and some energy about like, how is this hybrid church going to look like? What are we doing? Am I going to get left out? We are working very hard to make sure that we are holding the physical space and the digital space equally. And so I just want to show you a little bit the members portal, that brand new spanking members portal that we have that helps us kind of do this community thing. So I'm going to share my screen. I just want you to know, as I shared with a colleague earlier, that my computer woke up this morning and shows violence. So we are hoping and praying that it will, choose a life-giving path for my little portion of this meeting as I try and share my screen. If you want to be in prayer with me about that, I would be grateful. All right, I am hoping you can see our website, right? Look at God. All right. And when you go in, you see this little login here. And if you have not received yet, Ben, have people received? I don't know if people have received yet. You will receive information on how to log into your.
Yeah, we're going to send it out this week.
Thank you. And then you will get to put in your. I have to type and not talk. I'm not that kind of multitasker. You'll get to put in your new little password or set it up. Oh, see, this is why I can't talk and do this at the same time.
What kind of long password is that, Natalie?
This is not a screen that you will see. This is just my admin screen, but it'll take you to your profile. It's the first place it should take you, where you'll get to set up all the things about yourself. Your name, please put in your pronouns, as we obviously are an inclusive church. You'll get to edit your picture, all that stuff, right? And we have all these groups for you to join. This is really important. Please go do this. If it will let me. Sorry, guys. The computer violence thing is real. There we go. We should be in groups now. So you'll see all these groups. If you'll notice right here, we have 67 groups. 67 groups. What is happening? You might be wondering, why do we have 67 groups? Well, the reason we have 67 groups is because we also have in all of these United States people, as Jacqui was talking about, we've had over 347 people join in this last year. So each of those states has a group in the back end. And this is how we are helping to connect you all. It's important that you go and join your state that you live in, okay? So I know some of you, like me, I'm a transplant from Indiana. I'm like, oh, I could be in the New York one and the Indiana one. Just go to the one that you actually like. Where do you receive your mail and where do your clothes live? Like that's the one where you should join, because we're wanting to make sure that we can organize, dream, plot, plan together in those spaces specifically for those spaces. Now, if you have some stuff for other states, please let us know and we can share that stuff. But this is actually how we are going to try to build community in those groups. Also, you'll want to join, obviously, any other ministries that you have that you're a member of. And this is going to be another way where we can just do this work together, right? We're so excited. Now, we know that we also have international members. Your groups are coming. They are coming soon, because we know we need to reach out to Australia and South Korea and France and Switzerland and all the places where there are middle actual members. I'm not just talking about people who log in and watch us on Sundays. I'm talking about people who are invested in and engaged in this community. And along those lines, as we're talking about how you give to this community, we actually have clergy who are volunteering into this space. It's part of the whole like tithing time, talents, and treasure is by making sure that you're finding ways to give to the space. So you will see clergy who are sometimes in Mexico, sometimes in Paris, who will help us help hold the middle. Yeah, so that's our portal that I hope that you're excited about, as excited as I am. I don't know if that's real, but get there if you can. And we will yeah, see each other on the web. And this is how we're gonna be able to like be together. I'm so excited about this. Can you tell? I hope you can tell. So let's do it together. Let's see what we can build. Okay. I don't know who's next after me. Let me just check. Amanda. Amanda's next.
Hey, yes, Jesus be a vaccine. Look, Ben and I in the same space,
Hey,
vaccinated and being safe. It's amazing. And speaking of middle, we really showed up yesterday. We were able to do a vaccination pop-up with tons of partners from all around the city and even the White House Department of Faith and Outreach. And we gave out 72 vaccinations yesterday, right outside our rubble. It was beautiful and overwhelming. And all of the providers were really overwhelmed. They said, we are used to giving like 6 to 10 out a day. So whatever you all did, you're doing right. And that's because you all are doing right. You are a known entity in the neighborhood that people know and trust. And when we say we're doing something, people show up. And even if they've been hesitant before, they love us and they love the work that you all do. So I just wanted to say that really quickly. And then to transition into, we've talked a lot about the fall and all the wonderful things that are happening then. And I want to highlight this summer, because this summer we have amazing programming, both virtual and in person, to carry us through until homecoming. So here is just some highlights. All of our small groups are continuing throughout the summer. But then we also have some really exciting one-offs. We have a virtual young adult happy hour coming up. Our youth are going to the beach with Elise and Daryl. We have a virtual middle mixer game night coming up. I'm going to be meeting with anybody who's joined in the past 2 years, because these past 2 years have felt like a lot. So if you've joined in the past 2 years, you're going to be invited into a mixer with me, just to see how you are and how else we can connect you. And we are doing 3 park meetups this summer. The first one is on July 18th in Tompkins Square Park. The second one is down here on August 15th in Central Park. And the final one is on a Tuesday night in September at St. Nicholas Park. These are in-person gatherings, friends. Are we excited about that? I am definitely excited about that. I can't wait to see you all. And again, just keep checking our COVID page so you can make sure that you are comfortable and we are comfortable and we are all continuing to be as responsible as we can in this time. We also are doing a youth freedom school at the Boys Club, which is in the neighborhood. Elise and Daryl are going to rock that out with Alicia. Natalie is going to take a group to the beach to watch worship together. So bring your Wi-Fi, bring your routers, bring whatever you need for the beach, and you're going to tune in to Zoom worship together on August 1st.
And bring your communion elements.
Bring your communion elements, said like a wonderful Reverend Natalie, as it is the first Sunday. We are also going to do a kids freedom school in the Garden of Holy Redeemer Church on East 3rd from 3 to 5. I know you caregivers probably have already filled up your morning and afternoon. We chose this to be that time when camps end while parents are probably still working and need help. Oh, just me? Okay. But there's the time that will be happening. And then just to highlight a few things as you can start thinking about the fall. Jacqui swore to us that she has had such an amazing run with the Revolutionary Love Conference that she wanted to transition it into something new and exciting, which we are really excited about. We know that this space of teaching and raising ethical leaders and conversations in an anti-racist generation is our call. It's central to that, and it is a really great funding model for us. So we are going to accomplish that this year in the following way. We're going to have Freedom Rising salons. There will be 10 of them throughout the year on the 3rd Wednesday of each month. So you can go ahead and put a calendar invite now in your calendar from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And here are the themes, and we will have speakers and conversation partners in each one of these to carry us through the year. I think that's all I want to say right now about programming. It's a lot of exciting things. And just another word about congregational care, of which all of you all are ministers and deacons to each other. Our deacons are really, really rocking this out. I get so many phone calls from people who have said, my deacon checked in on me and they recommended that I call. And to hear that is just makes my heart soar, because we are really showing that we are the church and it's not like a minister top-down situation, but you all are loving and caring for each other in beautiful ways. We're going to continue doing that this summer. If you want to set up a coffee with any of the ministers, just let us know. We are here for you. We have our prayer portal, which remains online. We have our pastor on call line, which you can call at any time and someone will get back to you. And now I think I'm passing to Darren.
Jacqui.
Okay.
Jacqui comes back. Thank you, love. Thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness. Wow. Whoa, so many good things. Y'all see that? Y'all see that sign over her? See that? I wrote that book over COVID. Yes, I did. Gained 13 pounds with the book. Lost 8 on it, on the way down. Amen. But I'm so excited about this team. I just thought I'd get that said, Darren. It's been wanting to be said, so it got said. I'm so excited about my team. I'm so excited about you as part of the team. And so thank you so much for that. 2 years ago, I was supposed to go on a sabbatical to write said book. That was my segue. And we didn't do that sabbatical, nor did we do it last year. But this year, my consistory has given me a blessing to go on sabbatical. I earned a grant from the Lilly Endowment to study Black folks' religion and how its resistance and resilience has something to teach us today for movement building. John is going with me. The Reverend John Jenka is going with me. He is going to be looking at the kind of white counterpart. What about these theologies in the South that were in white churches that led to lynchings and terror? And I'll be looking at what's the theologies in the Black church and how did they wrestle to freedom and how can we do that now? So we're super excited about that. I leave on Tuesday morning. I will be taking you with me on that first 5 weeks, sending back pictures and notes and recordings and things so we can all together learn about Black folks' religion. I will make you laugh to say John and I are not married on this trip in some parts of the South. He is my research assistant, the Reverend John Jenka, just so we keep it safe and good. And so we're excited about that as well. When I'm gone, Amanda Hamburg-Ashcraft is senior minister in charge. She will be supported by our whole team, but especially Daryl, our other executive minister, who some of you don't know yet, but there he is. And I put his title in the chat, executive minister for operations and resource development. So helping us find space, helping us start the Freedom School for kids and the Freedom Lab for adults, putting it all in one umbrella. And when I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm gonna not work because I know that my team's got it. That's Darren and Amanda and Daryl and all the wonderful folks here. But so I'll be keeping you in my heart and prayer, and I will be back for homecoming on October 3rd. I say that to say that one of the things that I'm trying to learn, along with just, I think, hiring amazing people, but really trusting and growing and developing this team, that's in my goals. And they have just been fierce and amazing. And I just feel like I've never felt before in terms of stepping away, stepping back, and knowing it's still gonna work. So they've taught me that, and I love them deeply. And they're gonna be counting on you to show up to the things. And that means all of us will be ministers this summer and beyond. I think the last thing that I want to say really quickly is a word about my other team, which is my consistory. And to be honest, y'all, every 3 years our consistory turns over. We get new people on board. We lose folks, people transition, and then they come back. And when they come back, often they come back with new gifts and skills. But I want to look at the room of them, where I see them, the ones who have been here. Thank you so much, Danita, Tom, they hired me. But thank you so much, current board members, for everything you do. And I won't say their names. Ivan Anderson, Vicki Burns, Pete Grenfell, Darren Johnston, Jerry Lazore, Hadaria Morgan, Claudia Slasik, Shanta Thake, Edna Benitez, Deborah Berg McCarthy, Beth Eller, Kelly Smith. Those are our collegiate deacons and elders who spend more hours than I can say managing the world with me. They are my colleagues. They are extraordinary, brilliant people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. And this year, we have this incredible cadre also of our intersections team meets with us. So that's Dennis Barton, who's our deacon at intersections, and Tom Smucker, who's our elder to intersections. And intersections is making a transition, but Tom and Dennis have been extraordinary leaders in a transitional time. So thank you, Dennis and Tom, for that. And finally, we have more local deacons than ever before. There used to be one. And Linda Doria, who's now going by Doria, is a local deacon. Joanna Gopal, Kaede Help, Vincent Parham, and Sandra Santana. They are killing it on CARE and loving each other and showing up. So big snaps and claps to all my leaders. I'm so grateful. And if you're curious about leading, we have an opening. So be sure to, I'm going to say, drop Amanda an email and she'll make sure that that Darren gets it. Amanda, can you just put your email in the chat? We'll protect, or she can't. We'll put Amanda's email in the chat. So if you're curious about what it means to lead, drop her a note and then she'll make sure that we get it, okay? And I get to turn it over now to my wonderful, amazing, gifted, stunning chair, Darren.
Good morning and happy Pride Middle. Thank you, Jackie. I am so excited to see all of your faces this Pride Sunday. I cannot think of a better way to start this Pride Sunday, and I cannot wait to awkwardly dance with you in person. On my end, it'll be awkward. You'll probably have great moves. But I just want to say a couple of things. One, I am also so thankful for my fellow consistory members. And also, I just want to give a big shout out to the leadership of our senior minister, Jacqui Lewis, because, you know, she was mentioning Danita and Tom hiring her 16, 17, however many years ago now. And, you know, they hired her to be the senior minister of this church. And she not only has done that, but in this last year, the work that she has done for this community knocks me out. From, you know, the building, of course, this is the thing that none of us could have ever foreseen. The building coming down and having to navigate the fire and the coming down of all of that, and also figuring out how we move forward and how we rebuild and how we have a physical space that meets our physical needs and our digital needs and houses the movement and supports the movement. The way she has led not only us through this process, but our larger collegiate siblings through this process, the city through this process. I mean, if you guys want to have some real, or folks want to have some really fun joy, please do see Jackie with a hard hat and a red lip talking to really gruff construction people about how we're going to navigate this building. It is a joy to witness. She does that so ably. She ably navigates all of this collegiate stuff. You know, we have the endowment's not what it once was, and we're trying to be good, responsible stewards and make sure that all of the ministries can not only survive, but thrive into the future. And the way she brings truth-telling and clarity into that space when there are hard truths to tell, it is exceptional. The way, I mean, everybody's been talking about the public theology, and she absolutely does that so ably. And the thing that, of course, all of us know is that every Sunday, but especially when we have been in this pandemic, to have the word of God brought to us, and when our souls are hurting, when we're isolated, or when we're even in moments of joy, but we're just trying to navigate all these new norms and all of these, maybe not norms, but in-betweens with COVID-19, and to be able to receive this ministry Sunday after Sunday during a pandemic when a building is burnt down is a testament to the love and leadership that flows out of that woman 24/7. However, on the note of 24/7, I just want to also make a big shout out for the sabbatical, you know, because I will say I'm a little guilty that we talked about the sabbatical getting put off 2 years. I have often been a part of those conversations when I said some version of, well, yes, of course you need it, but of course you can't go. And so I want to say publicly to this full group assembled here, because I know sometimes because Jacqui is such an amazingly involved and public facing and front facing to all of us leader, that there can be some nervousness when we go, oh, our senior minister's not going to be around for a couple of months, right? I understand that. I can feel that too. And I just want to say, as the person who was like, no, you can't do that the last couple of years, that we are good. We are good in this moment. We will be fine. She will get what she needs, and we will be solid. And there's a few things I want to point out about that. One, that we are actually like literally calendar timeline wise, we're in kind of an in-between space on a lot of things. The work on the building is work that she does not need to be present for. You don't need Jacqui there where mold's getting torn out of that building. It's just going to happen. We're going to take care of it. It's going to happen. She don't need to be there. The decisions as far as temporary space and future building space and fundraising, the decisions that need to get made already are getting made, either have been made recently or will be made very shortly in the next few days. And then those big decisions aren't again coming up until the fall anyway. Our programming, what Jacqui needs to be involved in, Jacqui has been involved in and made those decisions. And we got a team that can handle all the things that need to get involved in the moment. And that brings to my second point. Not only are we in sort of an in-between space on a lot of things, so it's great timing for a sabbatical, but secondly, we've got the team. Because one of those things, and I mean, let's tell truth here. We all know that we've taken a couple of years to try to figure out exactly the right team that we needed to support Jacqui, to support us, to get us all going. And y'all, we got that team. We have got that team. And Amanda, Daryl, Ben, Natalie, I mean, just the entire group. I mean, John and Dion, the abundance of gifts on our staff right now are, and not even our staff, also our consistory, our volunteer lay leaders, like everybody who's doing all the leading at middle, we have got a rock star kick butt team in place. And so Jacqui's going to go away for a few months, and she's going to get the studying and the intellectual rigorous investigation that she's of course going to want to do, and she's going to restore her soul and get some naps and have a glass of rosé and get the things that she needs, so that when we come back we can rise from the fire, that when we come back we can do the work of love and justice that we know that we need to do in the world, that when we come back we can engage in what will, I'm sure, be a really fun construction project, and so we need her to get that rest up time, and we got this. And just to reiterate, Amanda will be senior minister in charge, but obviously Daryl and the rest of the team will be also integrally, whatever. I'm not sure that's right. Yeah, great. That was done right. Helping lead this congregation. I'll be holding point on our consistory and collegiate issues. And of course, I mean, rest assured, if something truly went like crazy bananas, Amanda and I can reach Jacqui, but also we're not going to. It's not going to happen. She's going to rest up. She's going to go down south, which I don't know if that's not restful, but it's a whole thing. But Amanda, the team, everybody, we got this. This community assembled here, we're good. We're good. We're going to be good. And so with that, I wonder if you would do me the pleasure of cooperation of doing a little hands up blessing on Jacqui and on ourselves. All right. So on this Pride Sunday, as we celebrate, as we work our way to freedom, as we know that we are still in the middle of a reckoning around race and a global pandemic, we pray for and bless Jacqui Lewis, our senior minister, as she finally takes a long in the making, much needed sabbatical to feed her mind and empower her to do even more deeply understand the legacy of Black folks' religion, to which she is an inheritor of that legacy and a furtherer of it. To have some time for restoration, to feed her soul, to make sure that her cup is not empty but flows over. And for all of you, that you may have time this summer as well for joy and celebration and restoration, so that when we come back in the fall and when we continue, we'll be gathered this whole time, but get your celebration on, that we may get our celebration on, so that we can rise from the fire, so that we can do the work of love and justice that we are called to do. And so the last bit of this blessing, of this prayer that I say to you, is the one that I say. We've had a crazy year and a half, and sometimes I don't know how to navigate it. And the only prayer that I know to pray is this: God be with me. God be with me. So as we pray together right now, we ask that God be with Jacqui Lewis, God be with our, our leadership team, who will continue to lead while she is taking a much needed sabbatical. And just as equally important, God be with each and every single human being of Middle Collegiate Church of the whole world, but God be with each and every face that's in a little Zoom box right now, and those that can't make it. We have been through so much. We have led beautifully. We will continue to do so. And we just say, please, God be with us. God be with us. In your many names we pray. Amen.
Amen. Darren, thank you so much. Everyone, I'm not the tech person, but I think if we leave this open for just a few minutes, if there are final thoughts or final questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. Is that right?
Yep,
And
that's great.
we can do that, and we will do that. And our team is going to save the chat, and we'll get back to you. And we love you, and I love you, Darren. And I'll see y'all in church in a few minutes, okay? Where Wesley is going.
Before you leave, you should unmute and say goodbye so we can hear you.
Yeah, let's hear your voices. Good, thank you, Linda.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Happy
everybody.
Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Right in the chat.
Drew, we're figuring that out, whether there'll be 2 or 1 homecomings.
Yeah.
Be
Oh, we can unmute.
Bye.
Bye. I'm calling you, Tammy. Help me sing. Okay, bye. Bye, everyone. Gabrielle. Bye.
We have a full day. Check the schedule.
Oh my gosh, you guys, 125
Bye.
people. Oh, Sunday. Woohoo. Bye. Bye, Tanya.
Bye.
Bye, Janita.
Bye.
Bye, Drew.
Love you. That, Deb.
Jeff.
Bye.
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 Bye, Lynn. Good to see you guys. Stephen. Bye.
Bye.
Worship.
Happy
Wow.
summer.
You're welcome, darling. It's good to see you. Thank you, Charlotte. It's so good to see you, Charlotte. Achebe, what's up? Claudia, Garska, hey. Wow, look at y'all coming from every which way. Awesome. Hi, Kate. Kate, look at how long your hair is. Oh my God. Okay.
Big close.
Safe travels, Jackie.
Thank you.
They're with you, Jackie.
Oh,
Yeah, safe travels.
thank you so much, guys. I thought that thing I said about the South and John being my partner, my research partner, was really funny.
It is.
Kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, he's just my research partner.
Yeah.
I know.
Bye, everybody.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Yes,
Love you.
yes.
Love
Okay.
you.
Any last thoughts? We're closing it down. Write it down. Do it.
Last thought is I love you.
I love you too.
Love you.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I
Love.
love you. Mwah. How lucky am I to be loved by y'all?
Yeah, have a
We are
wonderful
loved by
time.
you.
Will we be able to see, will we
Three.
be married at the South? Will
Yes,
we be
I'm
able to
sending-
watch the recording?
Yes, you'll be able to watch the recording. It's going to be on the website. We're not even going to edit it, which so this craziness will be there too. This funful joyfulness will be there. And then we'll send the notes, okay?
Thanks.
So everybody can stay informed and you can share them, people who, just who you think needs to know.
Yes,
Outside of the church is what I'm saying.
Fabulous.
Elizabeth Rogers.
Love you from Michigan.
All right, mama. Be good out there.
Post.
Bye, darlings.
Bye.
Michigan in the house.
Yeah.
We did a lot in an hour.
And New Orleans. We're in New Orleans this morning.
Are you done? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I'm jealous.
My granddaughter graduated from high school. So
Oh,
we
that's
were
nice.
just Grammy and Amelia.
Oh,
She's still sleeping.
oh wow.
Deborah, how do you have a grandchild? This is
I had my husband was a child bride. So yeah. I inherited.
Oh my God. I was going to say the same.
Giving you big love, Ellen, Linda. We love you guys. Be good to yourselves, okay?
Love you,
Good church, I hope.
All right, everyone. We'll see you in worship. We're
See you
heading
in
to worship.
worship. Bye now.
right. See you there.
See you.
Bye.